I think the search that was done was cost efficient. I think that it was effective. I don't think that we needed to spend any of the taxpayers' dollars on it. I think the search that was done uh, in reviewing the resumes and the credentials of those that applied yielded the best candidate for the job. I put ads on NewYorkChiefs.org and DiscoverPolicing.org.
So those were the two sites, no other sites?
No.
And then walk us through the process of making the decision to say we have to step up this recruitment process around May. What made you start, what was the determining factor in you saying, okay, we need to step up this process over the final 3 weeks?
I don't think it was anything that occurred over the final 3 weeks. I think that upon exhausting the review of the resumes that came in from the first search, it was determined that we needed to do some more work. And so what we did was to do some further research, look at what other search engines were linked to other search engines, and ended up with compiling a list of some 14 search engines that were not only those 14, but they had links to 12 other additional engines.
Selection committee. Do you know whether or not there was a selection committee?
No, I do not.
Okay. So, cursory review, the background we don't know yet, still hazy. Selection committee, we don't know their background in terms of to see whether or not we've checked into their finances, education, or anything that they put on their resume. Is that fair to say?
It isn't fair to say it.
Well, tell me what.
Wait just a minute. You asked me a question, I'm trying to answer it.
Sure.
What I don't appreciate is you trying to diminish the integrity of what my role in the search was.
Listen, I'm for the integrity of the process. Let me tell you that.
But you're
First
giving
of all,
me responsibilities that didn't belong to me.
You're questioning integrity here. We're questioning the integrity of the process, and that's what we're trying to get down to. I'm not questioning your integrity. I'm questioning the integrity of the process to make sure how the process runs. That's it. It's not about your personal integrity. We're just asking questions, and many of them are very straightforward.
And I'm giving straightforward answers. And again, that part was not my responsibility.
Okay.
Once the short list was put together and I was requested to do any background searches on anybody, then at that point that's done. But to do it on everybody that applied would have been cost prohibitive and a waste of time actually for my staff.
Okay. Now, you didn't do background check, the vetting process itself, vetting the candidates. Were you part of the vetting process?
As in?
Sit down with the candidates as they were the short list of candidates that sat there? And
no, I was not.
You were not. So you weren't part of the vetting process. It goes to your involvement in this thing, and I'm not blaming you, not at all. All I'm saying is I want to know what role you played as Commissioner of Human Resources and probably one of the biggest appointments that we're going to make here in the city of Buffalo. And I just wanted to know what your role, and you said cursory, so that's why I was just trying to figure out what does cursory mean. Now I understand what you meant by cursory. Now, you said there's no budget, or you said there might have been a discretionary money. Now this is a very significant position, and I think there's plenty of public interest in it, and only because it was stated that they were going to do a national search. The expectation is that there's going to be a huge pool of people. Now, back in May, I believe you sat with you when Council Chambers was here, and we asked you the same question, and you laughed, and you said, no one wants to come here. Those are your words. No one wants to come here. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I can. I didn't say no one wants to come here. What I said was that all of the negative publicity that Buffalo gets could be kind of prohibitive in people applying for positions here. I didn't say no one wants to come here.
Well, I guess if we go back to the transcripts, we can find out exactly what you said in terms of, I remember clearly that you said, I mean, you explained it, what you meant, but what the way you said it that day was totally different than what your explanation is right now. So you can provide us with the copy of the posting. Now, all those candidates that had applied, did they get follow-up? I mean, did we say, thank you for applying, we'll get back to you? Was there any follow-up with regards to those candidates?
I'm certain that there was, but it was not my responsibility to conduct that follow-up.
Oh, so you didn't do any follow-up either in terms of letting them know you received their applications and they were going to be contacted? There was absolutely no follow-up with these
People that asked in their emails, I corresponded with them. A lot of people asked that I confirm that their resume had been received, which I did in a reply email.
You know, we did, as a matter of fact, coincidentally yesterday, or the day before yesterday, while at the Italian Festival, we were approached by police officers that had applied with 2 bachelor's degrees. And I think she told us she never, she said she sent it via email, hard copy. She never got, thank you, we received your information and we'll be in contact with you. To this day, as of 2 days ago, and I think Luperto's a witness to this, they weren't contacted. So that is a concern. I mean, certainly we want people that apply to let them know that, somebody perhaps will be in touch with you at some point. So that goes to the integrity of the process. I mean, I think the concern here is, you want to talk about integrity? Well, people want integrity in the process too. And they want to make sure that it's a fair process, an open process. And I don't know, based on what we're getting here, is there is very limited involvement on your part, because we went down the line in terms of background, we went down the line as selection committee, we went down the background check. So it's very limited involvement on your part with regards to this national search. I'd like to think that these folks were contacted by someone, and I'd like to know by who. I mean, that question is still out there. Who contacted these people? Who came in for the interview? Who did the background check? I mean, you're Commissioner of Human Resources. I just don't know who else would do all this work if we have a human resource department to do all this. So that is a concern. That question's still out there because you can't answer that. I mean, you weren't part of the vetting process. You weren't part of the background check. You weren't part of the selection committee, the vetting process. Who did? Who did all this? Did they get 5 professors from Buff State UB to sit down with all these candidates, come in one at a time, go through their experience? I mean, we don't know what this process, how we came to the decision we came. You said we have the best possible candidate. I don't even know how you can say that if you didn't vet any of these candidates. You said it was successful. How can it be successful if you didn't even talk? I mean, with the exception of talking initially, you weren't part of the process. So I don't know how you can make the claim that this is a successful process. And that's our concern. That's always been my concern from the very beginning.